a party mood. Okay, so we're gonna start this morning. We're actually gonna actually listen to our gathering music instead of it just happening. And although we're not formally singing this, some of you are gonna know it, and you can just go ahead and sing along. So, big thank you to Jan Coe and Pat Luna for providing our music this morning. Yay! Okay. Thank you. Even if everything's not going our way in the world, today in this room, that's the theme. Everything's going well here, because it is. So, good morning, everyone. I want to welcome you. My name is Reverend Carol Bodeau. I'm privileged to serve here as minister. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. And today we are celebrating community. Westside is a place where your gifts and uniqueness are welcomed and embraced. It's a place where we honor community first and the love that unites and empowers us, that allows us to build thriving community here and outside these walls. Obviously, we're having a party today. We're kicking off our annual Canvas Think Pledge campaign, if you haven't heard that phrase Canvas before. But really, it's a chance to celebrate all the good things that we can create and have created when we come together as community. This is about how grassroots organizing and community building actually makes a difference. It's a place to feel some hope, to see hope in action. There's a lot to be upset about in the world, but today we're focusing on what we have the power to do and change, and the good that we can make right now. So, a few announcements first, all right? Next week, okay, Vita first, you can see Vita is still, if you haven't got your taxes done, like some of us have not, and need a little help with that, our voluntary tax service is still going on for a couple more weeks. And I believe, Jan, you have a sound bath this week. So this coming Thursday, Jan will be doing a sound bath at 7 p.m. in the sanctuary. Get here earlier than that to get your spot and get set up. But those are wonderful. Next Sunday is Easter, but we celebrate it as a broader celebration. It's our flower communion. So our flower communion is a celebration of community. You are invited to bring flowers, any flowers you want to bring. If you don't, it's fine, we'll have extras. And we do a little celebration ritual with putting all our flowers together into a number of beautiful bouquets, and then we all take flowers different than the ones we brought. So invite you to come for that. And there is going to be an Easter egg hunt afterwards for any kids. So, and we're collecting some Easter eggs out in the lobby there if anybody wants to bring some to contribute. The week after that, this is an important announcement, on April 12th, a little before the service, at about 10:15, we're going to have the first informational meeting for a new committee called Caring Connections. We've been talking about this a little bit. Some of you have already said you want to participate. Caring Connections is going to be organized by Andrew. Can you raise your hand? Stick your hand in the air. Andrew, our Membership and Programs Coordinator, and Ryan Moyers, who some of you will know as one of our worship leaders. Caring Connections is going to be the committee that does things like make sure they know who needs a ride somewhere and that ride happens. Make sure cards go out when cards are appropriate for joys or sorrows in the community. Making sure that special events happen. All the ways we take care of our membership. So on April 12th, 2 weeks from today, if you want to help out with that, show up a little early. Coffee will be ready. Show up a little early and you can help us start to plan how we're going to do that. And one more special thing that's coming up. This is a few weeks out, but I want to put it in your brains now so you can put it in your schedules. The first Sunday in May, which I believe is May 3rd, we're going to be, as the sermon that morning, is that part of the service that morning, we're going to be watching a recording from last year's UU General Assembly. And the speaker last year at General Assembly for the big main lecture is an activist and writer and podcaster named Imara Jones. And she is, her talk was about the connection between trans activism and anti-authoritarianism. So as part of us kicking into the quarter where we focus on LGBTQ plus issues, we're going to watch that, a section of that talk, and then after the service, I want to invite you to consider sticking around. We'll have potluck. But after potluck, we're going to have a discussion about some of the issues in our current region, in our country, about anti-trans legislation and how that links to authoritarianism and some of the things we learned at our safety workshop a month or so ago about countering authoritarianism in our culture. So just save that date in your head. Okay, one other announcement that I want to make before we start, and then I'm going to make it again later. You will find in the entryway, technically that's called the narthex. You've learned your new word for the day. In the narthex, in the back of the room, and those of you who are with us virtually, I'm sorry you're not able to do this, but you could type them into the chat and we can add them. There's a board. Jerry, what does it say?
What West Side means to you.
What West Side means to you, or what West Side means to me. And there's some pieces of paper. So during the party, you can take a minute to write down on there. Just make notes about what it is that West Side means to you and why you value it. All right. So it is our tradition here to begin our services by inviting the Himalayan Bowl to sing to us. And this is really just a way to tell ourselves to become present in this moment, in this room, right here, right now. And I'm going to invite Ann Harvey, our finance chair, and Michelle Knifing, the president of our board, to come up and do our chalice lighting for us this morning.
Good morning. This is a chalice reading written by a gentleman named Adam Slate, honoring our common connection and our uniqueness. We gather this morning as one community, a community united by common ideals: love, justice, diversity, freedom, mutual care, equity. Yet look around and look at the face of those around you, Each face represents an individual, every one of us with our own story, needs, strengths, and faults. We light our chalice today, honoring our common connection and also the uniqueness that lives within each of us.
Yeah, you guys can light them. Yeah, there's actually a candle there. You can use them. So it is also our tradition to light candles for the joys and concerns of the world. Life is a mix always of celebration and sorrow. And sometimes they come very close together. So our candles today are for two things happening this week. Both of them have joy surrounding them, and both of them have sorrow surrounding them right now. So the first candle is for Trans Day of Visibility, which is Tuesday. And that is an amazing celebration. How cool is it that we actually have a Trans Day of Visibility in our culture? That's awesome. And there's some sorrow around that too, which is trans people are experiencing an enormous amount of anti-trans sentiment and legislation in our world right now. So there's both joy and sorrow in that. And the other candle is for Passover, which starts on Wednesday. And great joy and sorrow also around our Jewish community, our Jewish neighbors. There's a lot of struggle for that community right now as well. So we light both of these candles as a way to remember that these are held equally in our hearts and in our minds at all times. Thanks, Michelle. Okay, so what we're doing today is we're saying all good stuff now. So your challenge right in this moment is, all the stuff that's in there that's not the good stuff, I would like to invite you to just gently imagine setting it aside. I saw some faces. People are, oh, okay. I saw some faces it's kind of fun being up here because I get to see the responses you make, right? I actually see your faces. So I mean that seriously. Take a deep breath. And if you feel like it, close your eyes. And just get a picture in your head of all the things that you're feeling, you're upset about, that aren't going your way, that are challenging. And with love and compassion and tenderness, and no intention to ignore them forever or to put your head in the sand, but just for a little while, imagine setting them in a box or under a tree, on a beach, and I don't know, someplace beautiful. Just imagine that you can set those things down for just a minute to allow yourself to feel joy and rest and community, even while they still exist. Just let them be set aside for a moment. So we're going to talk today, and you can open your eyes, or you can take a nap. That is okay. I cannot tell you how many people have apologized to me after a sermon saying, I know I fell asleep. And I'm like, if sleep was what you needed, I'm glad you got that need met here in this room. So if you need to keep your eyes closed and take a nap, you go right ahead. But for those of us who are awake, we're going to talk about a bunch of cool things that are happening in this community. You guys, whether you're here for the first time or for the 500th time, are building a community here that can make a difference in the world. Each person's gifts, just your very presence, that you come into the room and share breath with us, or sit with us through the wonders of our live streaming. Every person's presence actually matters, which is easy to forget in our current reality. But your presence actually matters. And the things that we've done here this year demonstrate that. A lot of things have happened. So we are going to go through a nice long laundry list of all the cool stuff that has happened here. So I want you to allow me to regale you with some of the things that you all are doing. some of what we do. And this is true. What I want you to do as we're going through this, instead of being like, oh, this is a boring list, I want you to ask yourself this question. What matters to me? What do I want to do? Which of those things that's happening here grabs my attention, grabs my heart? Who am I that I want to be in the world? So some of the things that we do are really obvious, right? Like worship services, Sunday morning worship, spiritual practices. If you're new here, you may not know about our spiritual practices, but this is a new thing. On Sunday mornings at 9:30, from 9:30 to 10:30, we lead an hour-long spiritual practice session that's led by some of our worship leaders and also by some other people who aren't worship leaders. We might do crafts, we might do yoga, we might do Tai Chi, we might take a walk for half an hour, and then we meditate. And that's being really successful. And also our worship team, our musicians, our choir. And could I just please have a shout out to Brad, who hides behind the curtain. Amen. Brad hides behind the curtain. But we would be toast without Brad behind the curtain. Okay? He makes magic happen. So there's a lot that just kind of goes on every week and is kind of the baseline. But in the last couple of years, we've actually gotten stable enough as an organization to really start thinking about all the ministries we do. So how many people in this room, and I want you to be brave, think of yourself as a minister? Amen. Yes. Okay, now, I want every person in this room to raise your hand. Every single person, raise your hand. I hereby officially dub you ministers. Right? When we think of what we do as ministries in the world, our understanding of ourselves and how we make a difference changes. And we've been changing the way we think about this at the structural level. The board has been really thinking about what does it mean to be ministering in the world? We've been focusing on balancing not just the short-term emergencies and things we need to get done today, but the long-term goals. We've been increasing staff support. We've been encouraging and supporting new committees, like our Justice and Generosity Committee, which is new, and the Caring Connections Committee we're talking about building. We're updating. I know this is not going to make anybody's heart go pitta-pitta-pitta-pat, but a couple of us go pitta-pitta-pat. We've been updating all our bylaws and policies and procedures. Nobody is going, amen. But where is Linda? Linda, raise your hand. Linda Phippen. Big round of applause for Linda Phippen, who has been... Do you know that if your bylaws aren't up to date, things don't go very well? They don't. So Linda's been working on our bylaws, and we've been working on our policies and procedures for like 6 years now, and we're going to get them done. So, and also I would just like to announce that the board has just appointed Linda our new assistant treasurer. She agreed to it. She agreed to it. She's also making a face right now, but she's agreed to that. That's an appointed position. Okay, and like, what about our buildings and grounds? Anybody been on the playground lately? I know you all think you're too big for the playground, but you should go out there, because Jerry in the back, Jerry, raise your hand, Jerry, and Ann, who was up here. Ann is not just the finance person, she also helps build things. And Mike over here, and Dave Goforth, who mostly we find outside. Yeah, Ann. We're in the process of rebuilding our playground, which is awesome. It's awesome. And here's something that's really cool. We had a capital campaign in this last year to raise enough money to redo our HVAC system in the back, which is going to get done this summer. By the end of this warm season this year, we'll have a new HVAC system in the back. And that took a lot of people's work, but more importantly, we came to you at the congregational meeting last year saying, could we take out a loan to do this? And the congregation said, yeah, we can take out, we don't have to take out a loan. We do not have to take out a loan. You all raised enough money already. We will hopefully be able to pay for the whole thing. So give yourselves a round of applause for that. That's really good. So, and then there's all the other kinds of justice and generosity work we're doing. Okay, I'm going to read the exact words of Sherry Smith, our justice and generosity leader. This is the list where you do your little checklist in your head. Ooh, I want to work with that. Ooh, that sounds cool. Ooh, that's interesting to me. Okay, justice and generosity, not just the committee, but the whole congregation, strengthened environmental stewardship by supporting new partnerships with Keep the Tennessee River Beautiful. That was in collaboration with our Green Sanctuary team. Expanding the way we have a direct impact on local waterway conservation. We nourished our wider community by actively supporting mobile meals. Carrie, where are you? Carrie is our representative for mobile meals. Helping ensure vulnerable neighbors get the attention, care, and dignity they deserve. We supported enhancement of sacred spaces by creating hand-decorated river rocks. We're hopefully going to build a labyrinth next. Bolstered one of our largest annual fundraisers by the committee helped set up the silent auction and the cool baskets, which raised enormous amounts of money this year. We continued our commitment to the bottom, advancing racial equity and purchasing books and directly investing in them. We promoted ongoing learning and safety by supporting Toucan's educational events. So toucan, all right, who knows what I mean when I say toucan, not the bird? Tennessee UU Community Action Network. So this is a brand new thing that Westside has helped create. Curtis Dush, who is one of our board members and is our stalwart moderator of our virtual community. Curtis is on the steering committee, the steering team of Toucan, which is actually organizing UU congregations across Tennessee on social justice issues. This is huge in our current time. This is new. We've been trying to get this going for as long as I've been here, 15 years, something like that in the area, and it's really been accomplished. So this is really an important thing that we can get more and more involved in. We've supported coordination, bringing Ty Murray from the bottom to west side. And here's a couple upcoming events you can look forward to. In June, AKIN, which is Allies of Knoxville's Immigrant Neighbors, will be doing a special, yes? April, yes, she put June, but it's April, what's the date, Carrie?
April 25th.
Carrie has many hats. Okay, you're on the board of AKIN too, aren't you? Or are you just a supporter there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Carrie's our local, knows everything in the community person. Can we please give Carrie a round of applause? They are doing great work. So April
25th.
April 25th. Here in this building, AKIN will be doing, it's an art show.
It's like a maker's market, kind of like we have people coming, vendors who are coming to sell crafts, baked goods, paintings,
Cool stuff.
vintage clothes.
Clothing, crafts, all kinds of stuff. And that will be supporting AKIN and directly supporting our immigrant community. And as I mentioned earlier, the Imara Jones event that we're going to do in May will be something that will be directly working towards creating greater justice in our world. So, okay, now you're going to love this segue. This is how we can turn the world around. You may not know the words to this, but if you do, feel free to sing along. Okay, we need somebody to change the HVAC in this room from heat to cool, because I'm watching people fan themselves, and I think it's set on heat. Anybody else warm? Yeah, I'm seeing people making fans out of their orders of service, which is always a clue. It's always a, hey, we have an HVAC in this room that works. Yay! Yay! Okay. Okay, a few more things while you smell the smells of the food heating up. Okay, so there's been some deeper sort of like behind the scenes foundational stuff, like bylaws and things like that. But there's also some great programs and how we use our space that we've been working on this year. So religious exploration programs. Leslie, raise your hand. Leslie Brussel-Smith has been organizing classes and childcare for us. So big thanks to Leslie. And Leslie, yes, a big thanks to Leslie. You know, during the COVID years, children's programs went away in a lot of churches, and most congregations are kind of trying to rebuild those. So we're really grateful to Leslie for helping us rebuild that. So we have, during the past year, been able to provide childcare every Sunday during worship. Some families attend regularly. We had a number of visiting families, and this year, Leslie's class that they did every month was inspired by the book Every Month is a New Year by Marilyn Singer and Susan Roth. So the children were learning about new beginnings celebrations in various cultures around the world. Going forward, spread the word to your friends with children, please. We are hoping that that group grows, and she's going to be doing a book. I'm trying to find the name of it. It's called A Lamp in Every Corner by Janine K. Grossmeyer. And it's about UU faith stories. So there's a curriculum, but in the meanwhile, that's once a month, we have, I don't suppose Chloe's within range, but we have just hired, some of you may remember, those of you who've been here for a while, will remember Chloe Chavez. Dwayne's smiling. Dwayne remembers Chloe since Chloe was like tiny, right? Chloe is now a grown-up, and we've just hired Chloe as a regular child care provider, so we will have regular child care, paid child care, every single week. So we're excited about that. And look around. Some things have changed around how things look. We've added the projectors. You have no idea, people, how much work that took. How many bids and visits of people saying, well, we could hang it this way, or maybe we could do it that way, right? So that projector, which we are now, Brad is wisely demonstrating its use for us, right? That's a big deal. We're hoping eventually to put one on the other side as well, so that you don't all have to tilt your heads that way. So that's a big deal. And I don't know if any of you have noticed it, but we have this cool new scrolling screen in our lobby too, right? So here's why I love the scrolling screen in the lobby. Because during a Tuesday afternoon, when I'm alone in the building and people come looking for something that's happening on Thursday at 5 p.m., I don't have to go tell them at the door, because the screen just scrolls and announces what's happening. So people in the community can actually see, oh, that's what's happening. And anytime you're curious, you can stand there for just a minute. If you're new and you're like, I don't know where to be during coffee hour and it feels awkward, you can look at the scrolling screen. That thing is really helpful and really useful. So that's another Brad thing. So yay to Brad, right? Also, has anybody noticed our new art gallery? We have the new art gallery here's the quiz of the day. What is this? What is it? Yeah, who said it? Narthex. I planted that so you could all pass that test, right? In the narthex, we have actually a little rotating art gallery where the aesthetics team has been putting art. So the aesthetics committee intends to introduce new art 2 to 3 times per year. So if you are interested in submitting artwork, or if you want to recommend someone to the committee, please let Michelle Knifing know. The garden area outside has been worked on, and there you probably haven't seen those because they're relatively new. There's new signs in the hallway. There are cool new names for all the classrooms, and they have cool new signs. So that will be next week's quiz. You all should walk down there and look at them. Okay, so are you ready for the next segue into the next piece of music? This is all meant to show all the different tones and colors and shades of love that we are able to give in this community. Go. That's an original piece by Jan and Pat, right? Yeah. So thank you for that. Okay, now probably the most important of all aspects of our congregation. All those other things are really foundational and fundamental, but they support the ways we take care of ourselves, each other, and our larger world. So it's this caring, right? It's this way we care. This growing sense of connection and caring in our congregation, which emanates both within the congregation and out into the larger community, is what really matters here, right? So the lists are cool, but you all are the actual success of this congregation. So, like, I know you're like, okay, whatever. Look around. I make you do that a lot. Look around. Look at the range of people in this room. I've been standing up here for a number of years, and I've seen this congregation expand and contract and expand and contract. And I feel wonderful about this congregation right now, right? It is your thoughts, your dreams, your concerns, and your willingness to show up that make what happens here happen. Here are a few ways we are growing collectively, not just in material ways, but in mind and heart and spirit. We have these what we call adult religious exploration programs. We have our regular online discussion group on Thursday evenings. Bridget facilitates that. Our book club, Ellen's been helping with the book club. We just are in the middle of finishing a course that's been going on for a few months called Building Your Own Theology. That group was on fire. That group was on fire with discussions about what it means to be a spiritual or thinking or caring person. They shared their religious and spiritual journeys, explored ideas about theology and ethics, and on April 19th, they're going to be leading the service. So we're going to get to hear all about that. They also decided, I love it when this happens, okay, now it's getting cold, isn't it? They also, yeah. You know that's the way of life, right? It's a little too hot, it's a little too cold. the best thing about Unitarian Universalism is that we know how to just like adapt and respect other people's temperature needs, right? So the group, the Building Your Own Theology group decided that starting in the spring, in a few weeks, and this will start in May, they're going to have a new discussion group, a follow-up on the previous discussion group, which is going to be called Mystical Moments. There's a deep interest in having more mystical conversations and conversations about mystical approaches to things. So those are going to be happening the first Sunday of the month after Potluck. I'm going to warn you, for those of you who want to participate in that. And you don't have to have been in Building Your Own Theology. If you have no mystical leanings at all and you want to sit and listen and say, you think what? Or if you're like, yes, that's me. Either way, the first one will be in May during the potluck, because after the potluck, we're going to have our Amara Jones discussion. But after that, there'll be potluck, eat some food, and then come have a conversation. So we're also starting another adult RE class. This one will be starting in the second and fourth Sundays in May, which is compassionate communication. I don't know about you, but it seems to me that we are increasingly in need of compassionate communication skills. Anybody having a little bit of a hard time with your compassionate communication right now? Any moments? Can you think of a moment in your week where you thought, that was rough. That was rough. So starting on May 10th, we're going to start compassionate communication. And this speaks, I think, really profoundly of where we are as a community. The board actually made an agreement. The board said, we want the whole congregation to work on compassionate communication. That says a lot about where we are in our commitment to building the world we dream of. So, in addition to the new Caring Connections Committee, and I just want to introduce Drew, raise your hand. So Drew Coffey is our new Membership and Programs Coordinator, so yay, Drew. Drew is trying to figure out how to help link up the Justice and Generosity and all the other committees and the Caring Connections and new people who were here a long time, people who just got here, all the things, right? But the fact that we have someone now actually really establishing themselves in that role. This is a role Elizabeth Corbett used to do. And we think lovingly Elizabeth when we think of this position. And Drew is taking up that role to help figure out the best next steps to make all of these things that we're doing really help you thrive. Because the thing is this, when I was in seminary, I remember very clearly one day when one of our teachers had us sitting around a table, a bunch of aspiring ministers, and said, "What is church for?" And some of us were like, learn and grow, and some of us were like, to build community, and all the answers. And one person said, the purpose of a church is to save lives. Okay, so how does that sound to you all? Think about that for a minute. I love the faces I see. Right? There's what? And questions. And for the longest time I thought that was kind of dramatic. But here's what I've learned. That is actually the purpose of this community. Right? We save lives every day. We save lives of people who might have come in this door feeling despair, desperately needing a sense of belonging. We save the hope and the promise of people who've kind of given up on community. We make material difference in the lives of, for example, family promise families. Charles, please raise your hand. Charles helps coordinate our Family Promise program, where we support families experiencing homelessness. This is real stuff. Meals to people who need them. There were people from the congregation who helped after the hurricane and went to North Carolina and Eastern Tennessee and helped those people. There are people in our community who just need a little financial support. And if you make a contribution on Christmas Eve and I find out somebody needs help because they can't buy groceries or pay their rent, the purpose of the church is actually to save lives. So I take what you all do very seriously. This isn't just it's an awesome, fun, wonderful thing, but it's also a very real thing. We matter in the community. This place is all about belonging, and not just the kind of belonging you get because you signed up, but the kind of belonging you get because you showed up. You showed up, you offered your voice, you offered your curiosity, you offered your criticism, you offered your insight, you offered your financial resources, you offered your material resources, whatever it was. In a time in our world when we might be feeling a little powerless, I want you all to know that what you do here matters. You don't necessarily hear all the stories. There's some things that I know that maybe you don't know about because they're confidential. But I can tell you that you are changing lives, your own, each other's, and in our larger world. So this is, here we go with the last segue. Are you ready? An amazing gift of grace to the world. Now, here's the deal. One of the best things about Unitarian Universalism is we are good with taking tradition and rebuilding it into that which serves us in the moment. So Brad is going to use our cool new projector and project words up, new words to a song you are all familiar with. So the song is Amazing Grace, but these are new words. So I want to invite you to sing along new words to an old song.
And actually, it's the last two verses that you all sing. Yeah, I'll sing the first three, and then we all join for the last two. Awesome. What grace is this that moves in me and makes my spirit whole, as powerful as the endless sea and delicate as foam. It leads my mind to question all and test what comes my way. Still in my heart there burns a joy that welcomes each new day. It gives me ties to all of life and love for all I see. It helps me feel a part of all and still uniquely me. Everybody, what grace is this that moves in us and makes our spirits grow, as powerful as the endless sea and delicate as foam. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that makes my spirit found the grace that moves in me.
Yay, all right. Awesome. So we are going to do something creative for our closing, for our benediction. That was an awesome, awesome thing. The grace that moves in each of us. Now, I believe that inside each of us, there is a wonderful voice, all right? Yes. Yes, go Alex. Alex says yes. There is a voice in each of us, and some of us are afraid to use it. So choir, come on up. Not all of us are professionally trained musicians. Not all of us are equally experienced with voice. But we are gonna lead a song that we're gonna invite you to just join in as you like. Okay? So the way this works. Okay. So we got two parts. Judy, you're gonna be down there, and they're gonna kind of look at each other. Now, you guys are gonna try and go that way. Just give it a minute. Okay. Do you need words? I do need words. Okay, so somebody grab Alex a hymnal. There's one right there. Right behind Pat.
Right behind Pat.
All right, let me teach you all what the words are. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Now let us sing, 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 sing. If you get that, you're going to be good. That's it. Okay? So the way this works is, I better grab a microphone here. Okay, so Brad's going to turn this on for me. Yay, Brad. Okay, so the way this works is, this is kind of singing to each other. We're going to sing their part all the way through first. Your job is to try to learn it, because I know you all can, all right? They're going to sing their part, and then the second time, we're going to respond to them. Could I have some A flats, please? Now let us sing, 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 sing. Now let us sing. Keep going, sing. So you can keep doing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing. We're going to sing to the power of the faith. Faith. Now let us sing to the power of the faith within. Sing to the power of, are you getting it? Lift up your voice, lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of faith. Now we're going to do hope. Sing to the sing. Sing to the power of the hope within. Lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power. Now we're going to do joy. Sing to the power of the joy within. Sing to the power of the joy within. Lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the joy and love. Sing to the power of the love within. Sing to the power of the love within. Lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Be not afraid. Sing to the power of the love within. Awesome. So the only way that a choir or a group can, and Alex just learned that like an hour ago, by the way, and Jan just joined, and Pat just spontaneously joined in. None of that was planned. So, after it's over. Anne's like, I got a box after it's over. So the thing is this. that kind of just showing up, being curious, being excited, being spontaneous, and participating, even if you're not sure, that is what makes the grace within come alive. So I want to invite you all to celebrate today when we're celebrating, celebrate yourselves. So give yourselves a big hand, and now there's going to be food, and Anne has the magic box, which I have no clue what it's about.
You don't know what it's about?
I mean, what is the magic, what is the magic box? What is going on?
I bring this box out every Canvas day, opening day.
Okay.
It's a very sophisticated file system in this size, never mind the size, shoebox.
That box.
That box. And so I will come around, and I have an envelope for all of you that I know are ready to pledge, and I will hand that out. And if I don't get to you, if you're leaving soon, please let me hand it out to you before you go. And those of you that I don't have your name, don't be shy. You can ask me for an envelope with a letter and a pledge form in it also. And also, during the potluck, Michelle is going to hand out the connection game that we've played before. And some of you probably remember it. You've got to match up the names of who done it, whatever the hint is there. So keep that in mind, too, and Michelle will be handing that out. Any questions about the box? That's it. Thank you.
So just a quick note on pledging. This is the last little theological note on pledging. You can pledge $5 a month if that's all you can offer. You can pledge whatever makes sense to you. If you choose not to pledge and you want to continue to support this congregation, there are boxes in the back of the room where you can make a donation. There are QR codes where you can make a donation. You can go on our website to make a donation. There are special QR codes, boxes, and places where if you just want to donate to our current partner, which our current Justice and Generosity partner for right now is the bottom. For just this is the end of our support of the bottom. Next week, I think it's next week, yeah, we start with Knox Pride, which is our spring quarter partner. So we always make contributions to our Justice and Generosity partners. The single most important thing you contribute is your presence. We appreciate, they say time, treasure, talent. The biggest treasure is you. Your financial support is deeply appreciated, but just remember that you showing up is the core of what makes us a community. So give yourselves a big round of applause and enjoy the party. And I think the food, are we putting the food out on the side table? Is that what's happening? So we'll put the food out as potluck as usual. If you did not bring anything, there is plenty.